I spent 6 weeks this autumn working on my game remotely in Spain and Portugal. I love my home country Finland, but I hate the time between October and Christmas. It's just constant darkness and rain. Probably why there are so many metal bands from Finland. Anyway, my name is Ville and I'm currently working on my game called Samago. It's a pseudo-online mobile game about frogs where you compete with other players on who can get the farthest on this increasingly difficult level that resets every day. Every day is a new competition since the leaderboards are also reset every 24 hours. I started my own company in the spring of 2024. And you know what is best in having your own company? You are your own boss. You can make your own schedule and work from the moon if you want. Hell, I can code the whole night and realize, oh shit, normal people are starting to go to work and then go to sleep myself. It just suits me so much better than a 9-to-5 developer job, which I have been also doing for many years before. Okay, so in November I flew to Spain with my girlfriend. Why Spain? Well, it was already a familiar place for me because I worked there remotely before when I was working as a software developer. In Spain I worked on my game every day and we launched the first version of Samago for our friends and family. The game was super fun to play for the first time with real people online. Developing the game was awesome and I spent almost all of the time in the balcony so I could develop outside even if it was a little cold during the night. We only have 2 people in the company, including me, so the communication works pretty much as good remotely as it does face-to-face. For some larger planning sessions, we have a Discord call, and for some minor things, we just message each other. During my time in Spain and Portugal, I hiked a lot, and also used the local gyms to keep my training schedule. It was great to be able to move outside and get some sun on my face compared to having to eat vitamin D tablets every day here back home. I also met some super polite cats, which one of them reminded of my cat Moikku. Especially in Portugal, the hiking trails were so good and the views were just amazing. There were a lot of surfers too. Unfortunately, I'm not a good surfer and the last time I tried it, I broke my toe. Someday I will get into it again, I promise. I believe the first thing that comes into your mind is this must be super expensive. Well, the truth is, it might not be as expensive as you think. This was a budget trip and the Airbnbs and hotels we stayed at were usually around 40 euros per night. This is because November and December is an off-season for tourists and the prices are much lower usually. In Portugal we got a really nice large hotel room with a breakfast for only 40 euros per night. Dividing that for 2 people it's 20 euros per night, which is really not that much. Also, the food in Spain and Portugal is much cheaper than in Finland. Well, basically everything is, so our living costs were much lower than back home. The only thing that did cost us more than usual was our home back in Finland, because we basically had to pay rent for nothing for 1.5 months. For many remote workers, these things might be absolutely possible to do, even if our first thought might be, no, I can't do it, it's too expensive or my company won't allow it, or some other reason. Explore the possibilities and it might be just possible for you too. Like I said, I also worked remotely for 3 months in my previous 9-to-5 job, and it was no problem for the company I worked for. And the living costs were much lower than if I stayed in my own country. Also, I do absolutely understand that this only applies for remote work and that many companies are still traditional in that way that they won't let their employers work remotely for such long times. Anyway, that was my story about working remotely and some small update considering our upcoming game Samago. You can now pre-register for Samago on the Google Play and App Store. By pre-registering, you will get the cool frog skin as well as 100 rubies when the game launches. Samago is expected to release in the beginning of March 2025. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to keep updated on our journey of indie game development, please subscribe to our channel, and if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you hated it, please give it a thumbs down. I'll see you on the next one.